this is someone who actually like sacrificed his life, like he committed his entire life to this sort of thing. And because he was thinking of not just himself and the people that were living during the period when he was living, but was thinking of so many generations that were coming to come after him, of which I'm one of them. And it gives me this sense of purpose and this sense of continuing the footsteps of what he's done. When you think back to 50 years ago, and when you compare how the world has changed between back then and now, you'll definitely see that there's a lot to celebrate. It was such a very, very pivotal moment in the history of this university, in the sense that this was a civil rights activist that was globally known, fighting, about different issues such as poverty, racism. It was such a great honor for him to be here, because it was the first time a British university was conferring, an honorary doctorate degree on a black person of color. It's such a very, very landmark achievement in the history of this university, because over the past 50 years, the university has changed so much. We now have people from all over the world studying here. And this was one of the things that, Martin Luther King kind of really spoke for, in terms of, people from all over the world coming together and seeing themselves in this global brotherhood. And I think that you'll be very pleased if you were alive today to see how far, the world has come in terms of the things they struggled for. Although there's much work to be done, but I think that kind of made a lot of progress since back then. I think that Martin Luther King is still very relevant in the 21st century, because the things that he talked about many years ago are still the same problems that the world is facing today, even though in a different dimension. Well, it's actually a very, very good privilege, and it's a very humbling experience, especially because this was someone who actually who fought for a better world for people like me. I guess 50 years ago I wouldn't be in a place like this, so it's quite a rare privilege and a rare honor to actually walk in the footsteps of such a great man.
With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation and all of the nations of the world into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
I think the thing that really stands out to me about Martin Luther King's speech, the fact that we are always going to have differences in the way we see things. We're always going to have differences in our beliefs. We're always going to have differences in our political ideologies and the way we view things. But we should never forget our humanity. We should always protect the less fortunate, the vulnerable, and those who can't protect themselves. So he gave this, this apt example, saying, he can't force someone else to like him. He can't force someone else to, maybe, kind of agree with his philosophy in life and things like that. But what we can do is to protect him from someone who might want to do him harm. One of the ways in which Dr. King has influenced me personally is his fearlessness. I grew up in a country where for many, many years there wasn't freedom of speech, there wasn't freedom of opinion due to the political environment and the culture and things like that. But at the same time, I always had this urge to always stand up for what was right. And it was like observing people like Martin Luther King that made me see that there are people who have actually done that. And sometimes it's not meant for everyone, but in every generation, there must be people who are always stand for what is right and always stand for what they believe in. And I think that that's one of the greatest ways which has influenced me, to always stand up for what I know is the right thing and to always stand up for truth.